Today we're going to make pasta norcina. This is a white cream sauce with sausage. All right, so let's go over all those ingredients that we just prepped. 3 cloves of garlic, just gonna leave them whole because we'll just put them in the oil for a couple minutes and then we'll remove them. That's a small onion, about maybe 3/4 cup of it. Pretty fine dice. I have 1 pound of sausage. I have 8 ounces of mushrooms, so these are diced. Typically this dish will have black truffles. So supposedly when it's in season, that's when they'll shave them on. I have 1.5 cups of cream. I have a block of locatelli pecorino romano. I also have grated pecorino romano. We'll use this to finish at the end. I have a little bit of nutmeg. I think nutmeg is gonna be really nice. It's always great with white cream sauces that don't have any tomato in it, just to make it a little different because every single recipe online is pretty much penne or tortiglione or something. I figured let's do pecori with grooves. So by having grooves in it, the sauce will be able to grab onto it. Now, if you can't get this, use whatever you want. Use a small tubular shaped pasta. And finally, we need 1/2 cup of wine. And I just happen to have 1/2 cup of wine left in the fridge. I use wine all the time for cooking. I have about 5 bottles of this over there. No, I'm saying this in every single video, but you can't do this without a really big pan. You could use a pot, like a high-walled pot. But if I use that, then you can't see into it while I'm cooking it right now. So we're gonna do it about medium heat. Always let your stainless steel pans heat up for a few minutes so the oil will skate, so nothing will stick to your pan, and then we will sear that sausage. It's a chunk here, the way they pack it, so you gotta use some muscle to break this up. And splatter it all over you also. Now this does have some red pepper and whatnot in there. This said this is plain sausage and I see fennel in there too. You know what? It'll be fine. It really will be. I broke it up a little bit into sections. Turn this over. You can see how brown or not brown I got it. That actually looks really good right there. Had to use a lot of force to flatten that out. Not easy the way they press that into those vac sealed bags. Let it go for maybe 1 more minute, then we'll start breaking this up. We want the pieces relatively small. I'm even gonna start doing it right now. All right, this sausage is looking pretty good. Try to break it up even more than I've been able to do. And then move it over to the side. Now remember, we have a really big pan so we can do this, and then get the mushrooms in. If you are working with small pan, you can do separate pans, you can do the mushrooms. We're not really gonna get them that brown here, but we will cook them with some high heat and they'll release their water. Some sausage has a lot of fat, some doesn't. This one doesn't, so I'm gonna put a little bit more oil in. All right, and while those mushrooms are going over here, I will try to break up the sausage over here. And you can see all the water coming out of the mushrooms. When the mushrooms get enough heat, they start releasing their water. Again, we're not gonna get them very brown here. If you really after that, you can do it in a separate pan. You don't need to. All right, so I'm gonna combine the mushrooms. Most of the water has been released. Make some more room in the pan. And I'll take those garlic cloves and the onions. Do my onions right here, and I'll do the garlic cloves over there. Once the garlic gets nicely golden, you can just remove it, discard it. Try to tip your pan to get more oil to go over there by the onions, and if you need more, you just add a little bit more. I haven't really used that much oil yet because I probably did only 2 tablespoons to start, probably added another tablespoon for the mushrooms and another tablespoon for the onion and garlic, which is fine. Some sausage that has a lot of fat in it you'll have more than enough. You won't need a lot of olive oil. Put a touch of salt on those onions. The meat's really brown, mushrooms are brown, the onions are pretty soft. You can see that right there. And the garlic has some decent color on it, as you can see right there. So I'm gonna remove the garlic cloves. If you wanna leave them in, leave them in. Okay, mix this all together. See how good that looks? The heat's pretty high right now, turn it a little bit higher. We'll put wine in. When you put wine in, keep your head away from it. Just let it cook out for about 30, 45 seconds. Doesn't need a long time. And then you can still keep breaking up your sausage even more. At this point, you can have your pasta water boiling because the sauce comes together very quickly. Heavy cream, I have 1.5 cups. We're gonna bring this to just a little bit of a simmer, and then we're gonna lower it down. See how it's bubbling? It's thickening up a little bit here. You don't need to go crazy. Let it go like that for about a minute, then lower the heat. That smells amazing right now. So our water's boiling. 2 tablespoons kosher salt per gallon of water. Just a good general rule to follow. Not to the sea level. Sea level's 3.5% salinity. That would be 7 tablespoons of kosher salt. It would kill your dish. You'd ruin your dish. It would be done. Okay, 1, 2. Maybe that was 2.5 or even 3. It'll be all right, but you just don't want to do 7. This is beautiful pasta. Look at this. This is Flora brand. I've used their tomatoes a few times in some of my videos. Very, very good. You know, this wasn't cheap. This Bikiri, this was $4 a pound. Normally I like to get to Checo where it's about $2 or $2.50 a pound for pasta. Kept thickening up, I actually turned it off. You can see how thick that is. Give it a little taste test. We can add a pinch of that nutmeg now. I like to put a little bit more, I think on the side for people, because some people like more, and the last thing you want to do is put too much of that. It's very overpowering. You can ruin a dish. That is incredible. You'll see when the taste tester comes down here. I'm gonna put a little bit of the nutmeg. I love nutmeg in cream sauces like this. I put it in spinach rolls that I've made. Delicious with that. I'm also gonna put some black pepper in here. Gonna loosen this up with some pasta water, maybe about 1.5 ladles. Don't worry, the pasta's gonna absorb all of it. And then we're gonna get the pasta in there. Now just coat it all. All right. So this is gonna need a couple minutes here. The liquid's gonna absorb into that really good pasta, and it's gonna be phenomenal. I mean, it's just so good looking right here. I had this guy tell me the other day, he said, don't you make anything healthy? All you make is fattening food. I didn't even give him a response. But what I wanted to tell him was, and I'll tell you guys, I have plenty of non-fattening food on this channel, but people don't watch it. That's the thing. I have a lot of seafood, a lot of vegetable dishes. And that guy especially, and you know who you are, because I guarantee you're watching this one too, because you like to watch the fattening food. That's why you watched it. And YouTube knows you watch it, and they're just gonna give you fattening food from every cooking channel. That's just how it is. I'm sorry, pal. You watch a bunch of healthy dishes, they'll give you more healthy dishes to watch. If you think you need a little bit more liquid, you add it in. You know, a lot of that's gonna be contingent on when your pasta's done, how long it takes right now to finish. You wanna taste test this. Not done yet. What do you think?
It's really good.
If you don't think it's amazing, tell everybody.
No, I think it's great.
Right? Listen, guys, this one took a very short period of time. This video only took me about an hour to make, so you can definitely make this at your house in about 30 minutes. I want to thank Chris W. and Kenneth Parker for both being producer Patreon members. That really, really helps me out, and I really, really appreciate it. I also appreciate everybody else who supports me on Patreon, and anybody else who leaves nice comments. That's really nice too.